Hey everyone, I'm Peter Barron. Welcome to today's episode of the Moonshot Podcast. Really excited to be joined by Chris Pryor, who is the founder of School Partner Connect. I like when I have a chance to talk to Chris because I feel like we're kind of moving along parallel paths in a lot of ways. And by that, I mean, when I started Moonshot OS and started talking about instilling business acumen and thinking about iterating the model, it was just different than anything that was out there. And it's opening a new window to look through and see like how can we improve our schools and create more sustainable futures. And I think Chris is doing something very similar in terms of helping schools rethink how they find and secure really good partners. And I'm excited to dig into it because I think it does have impact on the work that I'm doing and the work that lots of schools are doing. So Chris Pryor, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Peter. Great to be here. And I really enjoyed last spring when we could collaborate together on the East Coast as you were bringing some of your work in our direction. So
Yeah,
thanks
that
for
was
having
fun.
me
We
today.
did a business case workshop that we did in a couple of cities on the East Coast, and that was a ton of fun. Hey, but listen, in case folks aren't familiar with you and aren't familiar with Lead Team Partners, which is your primary organization, School Partner Connect, which is a part of it, can you give us a little bit of background?
Sure. So I live in Falls Church City in Virginia, just outside DC. I've worked in independent schools for 20 some odd years. I'm a graduate of a independent school, and I have two kids in an independent school right now. So deeply immersed in the community. And my path was admission initially, and led to some great opportunities to lead admission teams. And then I pivoted into development, eventually leaving kind of the school and as an assistant head. So over that time, I acquired a lot of relationships and a lot of skills, and I brought that to ISM as their director of business development, which was really exciting. I had been a faculty member for them in the past, and so it was fun to talk to lots of associations and school leaders about their needs, and then figure out who on the ISM team was going to be a good fit. And after about doing that for a year, I took a step back, and I was going to take a break from work and just think about what I wanted to do next. I had always thought about starting my own business. When I was sitting in an office room thinking, wow, I don't have a job for the first time in 25 years. What am I going to do? And I thought about my skills and what I enjoyed. And it was always central around, okay, I love schools. I love people. I like helping people. I like connecting people. Well, how could I make that a business? And so I launched Lead Team in January of 23 with the sole goal of facilitating connections, not being a consultant, but being a connector, a networker, a broker, sitting in the middle. And so my first service was external school partner search, where I basically am delegated the project to go find a firm for a school leader based in whatever criteria they have. I've done that in terms of building a new website for a school or helping them identify a search firm to find a senior leader. And over time, it led to thinking about this ecosystem of external school partners and building a community where we could support one another and learn from one another, and also make it easier for school leaders to connect with experienced folks to help them achieve their goals. And so that's really how School Partner Connect was launched just 5 weeks ago, and we currently have 50 external school partners in the community, and we've received about 15 projects so far, and 3 school leaders have hired from the platform. So we're just getting started, but feeling a lot of positive momentum with the energy around it.
Like I said, we feel like we're kind of leading parallel lives as we're bringing kind of new ways of learning and connecting together, different communities. And I have always been fascinated by like this partner network concept. I mean, years ago when I was at Blackbot, I had kind of rebooted the partner network when I was there. So had a lot of, I don't know, just interest in like how do you bring people together so that we can all kind of achieve our goals, right? And I think that's probably a big thrust for you is how can you help schools get to where they want to be? And I'm curious, why did you think that a new way of doing that, creating a new marketplace, was that now's the right time? What inspired you to really tackle that challenge?
So I have to give credit to Aubrey Bursch, who's the founder of Easy School Marketing. I was kind of building this out, and she suggested that I should informally have all my connections in the DC market get together for lunch or go for a walk. And so we had a local group of about 20 of us that would meet periodically throughout the year. And it led me to think, okay, well, if it's helpful for the local community, maybe I could do this on a national level. So I ran some cohorts this summer, and there felt to be some nice synergies. I saw people meeting each other for the first time and presenting together or delegating to one another, or at least making some introductions. So that synergy felt really good from the external school partner side. And then for the school leader, I just remember how hard it was to do the day-to-day job and manage the team and work with the faculty and deal with the board, and then you had something that was strategic and you needed to hire a partner, and trying to find the right partner and do that at the same time of running the day-to-day was hard. Now, that was before COVID. Managing schools and running schools today is even harder. And so I just felt like I could cut the school leaders a break and help them do a little bit of that work in advance, and just streamline the process so that when they were in need, they had a new resource to support them. And so that's really was the intentional goal, was just to make it a little bit easier for school leaders to kind of stay in their role and execute on their priorities.
So how does it work?
So school leaders can come to my website, leadteampartners.com. There's a very simple form that they submit. They identify what area of school leadership they need some help in. Right now we have 12 pipelines, as I call them. So everything from governance to strategic planning to data, culture and community, advancement. Think about the leadership team table, and pretty much every seat around the table is kind of where we've curated these partners. And so a school leader will submit. They'll talk about a little bit about what they're trying to achieve, how quickly they want to get started, if they have a budget, if hopefully they have kind of a scope of work or something. Maybe they have a RFP, and they hit send, and I give them a quick call to ask some clarifying questions, and that is really helpful, I think, for both sides of the equation, because as I put it into the community, I put it into the community based on the skills that they're looking for, the type of service they're asking for. So if it's a Marcom project, only marketing and communications professionals will see it, and then they can review whether this aligns with the services that they provide, if the timing works, et cetera. For their self-identifying whether they want to reach out to the school. If they do decide that this is a project that they want to pursue, they send the head or the senior leader an email introducing themselves, letting them know that they heard about it through School Partner Connect, and they're on their way. The only thing that I ask school leaders is, because it's a free service for them, is when they receive a notification that someone's interested in talking to them about their project, that they take the 30 minutes and learn a little bit about that firm, because they're already pre-vetted. These are experienced, known quantities in the K-12 space.
So my, work is around instilling business acumen and helping schools think about iterating the model and ways you can do that. Like, do you see a fit with what you're doing with like that process of iteration?
Well, the whole process of Lead Team has been iteration to try and figure out what market fit is, right?
Sure.
But no, I think school leaders need to. Time is of the essence, and time is so valuable. And so I think what we're doing at School Partner Connect allows them to save a little bit of time and focus on the big initiatives on campus in a way that some of these projects you just can't delegate to somebody else on your team, right? The investment is so large, or the impact, or there's too much scrutiny on making the right choice. So as a leader, you want to make sure that you're talking with the right people, and my hope is that we are facilitating that process in an easier way. Now, schools are still going to call their friends. They're still going to call the local association, and that's great. This is just another resource for them as they're doing their due diligence.
Where do you see this whole model going? I'm curious if a school leader was listening to this and trying to get their head around, okay, I see where we are today, but like, what's the impact going to be tomorrow? What would you say?
Well, I think most schools do 2 to 3 strategic initiatives in a year, school-wide initiatives, and they do several others. I think faculty and administrative retention is top of mind for many school leaders. And I had a friend today that posted as a Marcom director about all the different skills that she's required to do. I think we have the same friend, or
Yeah.
at least saw the same post. And it was amazing, right? In terms of all the tasks that she's supposed to do in her role. And so I think outsourcing is going to become more prevalent as we go forward to manage people's mental wellness and their bandwidth and everything. And so when you need to find a resource, how do you go about finding it? And these don't have to be, multi-thousand-dollar projects. I just helped a school leader in Texas. She was looking for anti-bias training for her admission readers. It was a small project, but she didn't know where to start. She submitted it to the community, and she had 3 really seasoned people reach out to her. And the nice thing is they were from all parts of the country. One was in Seattle, one was in Kentucky, one was in New Jersey. And she would have never found these folks on her own because they're smaller shops. And what tends to happen is within a given region, you tend to hear the same kind of names. And so what I'm hoping to do is provide a little bit more diversity in terms of the roster that people consider. And and I think that's going to be helpful to schools.
Yeah, I love that perspective. I've been working with independent schools for 20 plus years now and have partnered with, I don't know, I've just come across so many people who have worked in this space from a partner perspective. And the thing that always strikes me is like, look, they're in it more often than not, they're in it for a specific reason. They've either went to an independent schools, they worked at an independent school, they had a child that went there, they just aligned deeply with the transformational outcomes that independent schools offer families. And I say all this because what you said about being in one geographic area and kind of only seeing the names that are around you, like that's a really easy thing to do, right? Because they could drive on campus and whatnot, right? It's just easy to make connections. But the number of partners in the US and abroad that are serving independent schools and the deep level of commitment they have to them is just incredible. I hear it every time I talk to somebody. Everybody's in here in this for really deep, meaningful reasons. And if you can provide access to that wider audience, then I think that alone is going to offer tremendous value to schools.
Yeah, I mean, there was a school in Maryland that was needing some help with risk management, and thankfully, I had a perfect partner in California, and so I connected them, and they're off and running. So I think with Zoom and what you can do virtually, you have access to several more external school partners than what you used to, because it used to be who can drive to campus and help you in a pinch.
Yeah. Hey, last question as we wrap up. I always like to leave folks with something actionable, something that they can do today. So let's play this out. Like imagine a school leader called you and they're looking for the right partner to support, whatever project they're considering at that time. What advice would you give to them?
Yeah, I just did I host a webinar series called The Huddle each month, and I just had one this month with the team at John Thomas Dye School, and it was a really fascinating discussion. And one of the things that we were talking about is first you need to pause and think through, like, what is it exactly? What's the problem? What do you need? how quickly does this really need to get done? What budget can you allocate? What personnel from your team can you allocate? Because I think oftentimes you think outsourcing is just going to be all the work on them and not so much on the school. And in fact, in order to achieve success, you often need a lot of project management internally, and you need alignment around what the issue is even before you start. I was talking to one of my capital campaign consultant friends, and she says, I get so many calls when people are just at the front end and they call me to talk because they want to launch a campaign, and it's premature. It's too early to sit and have a conversation with me. They need to go back and do some homework around exactly what they're trying to achieve, and frame it out a little bit more before they make that call to the consultant. So I would encourage school leaders to spend a little time doing that. And the other suggestion that came out of the huddle that I thought was really good is to develop a rubric that you can leverage, so that when you have your committee, everybody has an honest assessment of what they're seeing and reading, and it'll generate a healthy discussion when they get to the point where they need to kind of narrow it down to semifinalists or finalists. So having a rubric that you're measuring the different firms against is also helpful. So those two things are, I think, actionable takeaways.
Yeah, I love that. Especially, what problem are you trying to solve? I think that is such an important question to ask, because sometimes, what you think you're trying to accomplish maybe isn't exactly what you need to do. So doing that kind of homework, like you said, is really helpful.
Yeah, and I think too, open to hearing what the consultants say, because I know consultants will come in and say, well, you've identified this area as the issue, but I think that you
Yeah.
need to focus here first, because this
Yeah.
is causing, and they're interrelated. Again, that's when you find experienced consultants. They'll help kind of peel the onion and get to the root of the issue.
All right, Chris, this has been awesome. Like, if somebody wants to follow up with you and connect with you, what are the ways in which they can do that?
Sure. Pretty active on LinkedIn. So obviously give me a follow there. Our website is leadteampartners.com. And from there, just shoot me a note, and be happy to give you a call. I love connecting with people. I love meeting new people. So I'm looking forward to any opportunity to facilitate connections with our group of amazing, talented external school partners.
Oh, that's fantastic. Chris Pryor, founder of Lead Team Partners, School Partner Connect. Thank you. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. And I'm glad you're part of our community.
It's been a pleasure. All right, my friend. Thank you.
Cheers.